yourself answering questions your child could figure out with just a little bit of effort? Are you exhausted from having to constantly sit next to them? If you're nodding your head, you might be caught in the overhelping trap, which drains your energy while robbing your children of valuable growth. Today, I'm revealing the 5 telltale signs that you're overhelping your homeschooler and exactly what to do instead. Stay until the end because the final insight could be the one that really makes a difference for your family. Hey, if we haven't met, I'm Kim with Not Consume Ministries. As a single mom homeschooling 4 children while running a business full time, I discovered that empowering my children rather than making them dependent didn't just decrease my stress, it increased their confidence, their competence, and their joy in learning. The truth is, the person doing the work is the person doing the learning. So let's dive into those 5 unmistakable signs that you might be overhelping your homeschooler. Sign number 1, your child only works when you're sitting right there. Picture this. Your child is supposedly working on math, but the moment you walk away to start dinner, progress mysteriously stops. When you return 20 minutes later, they've completed exactly 2 problems. The same 2 they finished while you were watching. They've been doodling, daydreaming, or finding creative ways to avoid the task entirely since then. This isn't just normal childhood distraction. It's a clear sign they've become dependent on your physical presence to maintain focus and motivation. The problem isn't that they can't do the work. It's that they won't do it unless you're sitting right next to them. This dependency develops gradually. We start by hovering to ensure understanding and then stay to keep them on task, and eventually find ourselves essentially holding their hand through the entire assignment. They learn that mom is their external motivation system, their personal productivity manager, who will ensure that they get it done. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When children only work with direct supervision, they're not developing the internal motivation and self-discipline that they need for future success. They're learning to rely on external accountability rather than building their own work ethic. It's time to learn how to teach your kids to learn independently. We want to teach them to work in stages. We start with working nearby while we're distracted, and then move to short intervals where we step away and gradually extend to longer periods of independence. Now, if you're interested in that, I'll show you exactly how to implement this in my independent learning video, where I break down the entire process from preschool to high school. I'll link that in the description. Sign number 2. You answer questions before they've tried to find the answer. Mom, how do you spell because? Mom, what's 7 times 8? Mom, when did World War II end? If you automatically respond with answers to questions like these without first asking, well, what do you think? Or where could we look this up? You're reinforcing dependence rather than teaching research skills or worse, critical thinking. When we immediately provide answers, we deprive our kids of the mental workout involved in retrieving the information or working through problems. It's kind of like hiring a personal trainer who lifts the weights for you, completely defeating the purpose. So try this instead. When your child asks a question, respond with, well, that's a great question. Where can we find the answer? Guide them towards dictionaries, reference books, educational websites, or other resources if appropriate. If they need help with a math problem, spelling, or similar task, ask them to explain their thinking so far, or to identify exactly where they're stuck. This approach takes more time initially. I get it. But it pays off in developing self-sufficient learners who know how to tackle challenges independently, and that's what we want. Sign number 3, you're doing more work than your child. This sign is perhaps the most revealing. At the end of the homeschool day, who's done more work, you or your child? If you're researching topics, creating elaborate lesson plans, and designing activities, or explaining concepts repeatedly, checking every problem, correcting every mistake, and thinking through all the solutions while your child simply completes the minimum required work, the imbalance is very clear. Learning requires mental effort. If you're putting in more mental effort than your child, something is fundamentally off balance. Education isn't something we do to our kids, it's something we equip them to pursue themselves. Look at your homeschool through this lens. How much of your daily activity involves doing things your children could potentially do themselves? Could they work through simpler subjects independently? Can they research topics of interest? Check their own work against an answer key? How about create their own study guides? You want to begin intentionally transferring appropriate responsibilities to your children. This isn't about burdening them. It's about empowering them. When children take ownership of their education, they develop critical executive function skills that will serve them throughout their lives. I'll help you do this step by step. In that independent learning video that I mentioned, I'll show you that 5-step process for gradually transferring the workload to your child in a way that actually makes them excited to take ownership. I'll share exactly which responsibilities to transfer at each age and stage, making the process painless for both of you. I'll link it in the description like I mentioned. Sign number 4, your child shows little initiative or curiosity. Children are naturally curious creatures, born with an insatiable desire to explore and understand their world. If your once inquisitive child now waits passively for instruction, rarely asks genuine questions, or shows little enthusiasm for self-directed learning, overhelping may have dampened their natural drive. When we micromanage education, constantly directing children's attention and efforts, we unintentionally teach them that learning happens only when the authority figure orchestrates it. Their natural curiosity gets replaced by compliance, and initiative gives way for waiting for instructions. This is what homeschooling should be all about. We want to nurture and preserve our child's love of learning rather than extinguishing it. So to rekindle that spark, we want to create regular opportunities for choice and self-direction in your homeschool. This might include something like designated exploration time, where children pursue topics of interest. It definitely includes allowing them to pick the books that they read. Now, our reading journal is a great tool for this because it allows kids to select the book they'd like while still holding them accountable for the day's reading. Kids learn comprehension and literacy skills in the process. It's a win-win. Another way to give them this freedom is allowing them to choose the order in which they complete the required subjects that they do each day. And finally, you definitely want to add in project-based learning, where kids have the opportunity to explore things that fascinate them. One example of this is consumer math. In this high school math curriculum, students complete projects based on their future life plans. This is a great way to do real-life math. The more opportunities children have to make meaningful choices, the more their natural curiosity and initiative will thrive. Okay, sign number 5. Your child has low self-esteem or believes they can't do things. You'll hear things like, I can't do this, I'm not smart enough, I need your help with everything. If you hear statements like these regularly, it may indicate that overhelping has undermined your child's confidence in their own abilities. When we rush to help our kids before they've really struggled with a concept, we unintentionally communicate that we don't believe that they're capable of figuring it out on their own. This pattern becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more we help, the less confident they become. The less confident they become, the more they seek our help. Eventually, they genuinely believe that they're just incapable of independent thought or work. My friend, if you have recognized your homeschool in one or more of these signs, please don't feel discouraged. Overhelping almost always springs from a place of deep love and genuine desire to see our kids succeed. The good news is that awareness is the first step towards positive change. Everything you do for your children that they could have done for themselves sends an unspoken message. I don't believe you're capable. Conversely, every time you step back and allow them to struggle, problem solve, and eventually succeed, you're declaring, I believe in you. You have what it takes. The most empowering gift that we can give our kids isn't perfect understanding or flawless performance on an assignment. It's the confidence that comes from overcoming challenges on their own. So how do we fix this? Give your kids the reins by teaching them to learn independently. Now, if I sound like a broken record about now, it's with good reason. Independent learning will change everything about your homeschool, I promise. Now, I've linked my step-by-step system for transitioning from overhelping to empowering below. You'll find practical strategies you can implement immediately, regardless of your child's age, stage, learning style, curriculum, all of that. Until then, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 signs resonated most deeply with your homeschool experience? Drop a comment below sharing your biggest challenge in finding the balance between supporting and empowering our kids. I read every comment and may even feature your question in an upcoming video. Remember, we're in this together, growing in faith so we can live not consumed by challenges. Of course, remember to subscribe and like this video. It helps a lot. I'll see you in the next one.